you can be more intentional and confident in styling your product. To do the class project, you just need to first plan and do a little inspiration gathering. Next, choose a theme or color palette that best describes your brand or product. Then select and source props. A quick side note, your props do not have to be all fancy. As you will see in the demo lessons, I will be maximizing things I already have and very simple backdrops. Finally, number 4, setup and style. In the following lessons, we will be dissecting each step and I will be sharing tips and my workflow to really help you succeed in doing the class project. Next, what are the materials that you will need to do the class project? First, a product to photograph. It could be your product, a client's product, or any product that you recently bought. For example, for me, I will be photographing this new pair of shoes that I bought last month as my subject. Next, you just need a source of light. This could be natural light from the sun or artificial light from lamps and LED lights. For my setup, I will be using an artificial continuous light. This is quite big because this is my all-in-one light source for my videos and photo shoots. So if you will be photographing a smaller product, you can definitely use a smaller and simpler source of light. Of course, you need a camera to take photos. It could be your smartphone camera, a DSLR, or mirrorless. Finally, you will be needing a few props. These include your backdrops, which will serve as your main background, supporting objects like magazines, accessories, dried leaves, and absolutely anything to help you tell your brand or product story. I also made sure that most of the principles and techniques that I will share in this class are general, so you can apply it to whatever product you are photographing. I really want for you to succeed in doing the class project, so I also included a downloadable product styling guide under resources. You can share your work with us by uploading it in the class project gallery. You can just go to projects and resources and click on the create project button. You can upload multiple photos and choose your favorite one to be the class project cover. I am super excited to see how you will put the learnings from this class into practice. Good luck and have lots of fun. So why is product styling important in product photography? Product styling is the art of making the product look as appealing, interesting, and inviting as possible. We can do this by intentionally choosing backgrounds and props to create a story that can capture our audience attention. It's important because our audience does not know that our product is amazing yet. And the best way for us to showcase our products is through our photos. The first thing that our visitors see when they reach our website or page are the images. Your product photos reflect your brand image, so it pays to put more effort in product photography. Now, there are different things to consider when creating high-quality product photos, but there is one that greatly influences our viewers' emotion, and that is styling. Photos are not like videos. There is no dialogue or music, so we need to activate our viewers' desire to know more in our images alone. You probably heard this already, but winning photos are photos that tell a story. Styling can greatly help with that. For example, this is a product I shot for a brand that sells organic skincare. This photo of the lotion is nice and looks good on an e-commerce website, but observe the difference when we add a bit of product styling. For me, this is an example of a photo that I can smell. Just by looking at the photo, I have an idea that this product could have a pleasant berry scent. I can still remember my first meeting with the owner of this brand. Their brand message is food for the skin, and that is where I got the idea to use fruits as part of my main props for this photo shoot. This is another example. This product is also organic. This is a healthier alternative to crab paste. So instead of using crab fat, the creators of this product used plant-based ingredients to make a coconut paste that tastes like crab paste. I'm not sure if you're familiar with crab paste, but in our country, this is a delicious side dish. However, it's not very healthy. When I styled for this product, I made sure to include all the natural ingredients as props. So with just one look, my clients' customers already know a lot about this product, like the main ingredients and what to expect from the product. If you will notice too, I used a lot of wood and brown props in this photo shoot because the product was inspired by my client's grandmother. They told me that their brand message, aside from promoting healthy eating, is to bring the feeling of warmth and comfort to their customers whenever they consume their product. They wanted their customers to feel their grandmother's love. So I tried to keep that in mind when I chose the backgrounds and props for this product photo shoot. That's my favorite part when styling products. I love bringing my clients' ideas to life. I love seeing their reaction when they see the final photos. The success of my styled photo shoots came from the goal to deliver the brand message through storytelling. And that's what we are going to talk about in the next video. See you there. We live in a time when the quote, "A picture is worth 1,000 words," is more accurate than ever before. This is the reason why I believe that product styling is a crucial part in making sure we present effective and high-quality images to our audience or target customers. In the previous lesson, I mentioned that styling helps in storytelling. But what is storytelling in photography anyway? A story is a message that you want to share with your audience. It's what you want your viewer to know about your product or the product. This is important because storytelling helps in delivering your brand message. A brand message helps in reaching your target customers. When we style to tell a story, our product photos are more relatable. Imagine looking at this photo of my client's s'mores pie. It looks nice and clean, but I honestly don't see anything special. It doesn't activate that desire for me to know more about the product. But just a bit of styling can make a big difference. Just by adding these two ingredients into the scene, I now feel a bit of curiosity. Now I am a bit intrigued and interested. I take it a bit further. I include shots of the sliced pie and a fork with a tiny piece of the pie. Aside from seeing the layers of the pie, these photos are honestly making me crave for this product. This is how we tell a story through our photographs. We could show the ingredients, we could show a setup that brings back memories, we could use colors to intensify emotions, we can use props to enhance the story. When styling to tell a story, we could also use these questionnaire. Number 1, what is so special? Number 2, what is happening? Number 3, what emotions are you evoking? The idea is that your product styling has to have meaning. It needs to tell a story. This is a great opportunity to showcase your product's strengths and your brand's message and values. A top tip in storytelling through photos: if your product story doesn't fit in just one photograph, you can create a series of photos to tell a story. Now it's time to put what we have learned so far into practice. In the next lesson, we will start our creation process with planning, inspiration gathering, and choosing a theme. See you there. Now that we know more about storytelling and how we can use it in styling, it's time to start creating our photos. You heard that right. The creation process doesn't start in the studio. It starts as soon as you start planning for your photo shoot. You perceive the image in your mind first. The exciting part is we are going to bring those ideas to life. So, how do we do it? First, we need a solid plan for our photo shoot, and it needs to be written down. This is probably one of the most underrated advice, but one that saved me from a lot of overwhelming photo shoots. In my experience, the planning day is different from the photo shoot day. So what usually happens when my client finally sends their product is that I get stuck and overwhelmed. I had to learn it the hard way. I now have notes and a shot list for every photo shoot, even the one that we will do for the class. I mentioned that I will be photographing this pair of shoes, right? If you're like me, the moment you find out that you will be doing a photo shoot, you suddenly get a ton of ideas. My top tip is to write down those ideas. I have this sketchbook that I use for almost everything. This is where I put my brain dump and ugly photo shoot drawings. So yes, it does not have to be perfect and pretty. For this photo shoot, I started with writing the things I liked about these shoes so I can try and show that in the photos. First is the color. I love that I can pair it with a lot of outfits. Next is versatility. When I first saw it, I knew that I could wear it on almost all occasions. I could wear it on casual meetings, dinner with family, adventurous trips with friends, etc. Finally, I love that it is comfortable to wear. I love odd numbers, so my idea is to do 3 different setups to show what I like most about this product. I wanted to tell a story that this product is light and comfortable, that it's also versatile and can match any outfit, and that it can also be worn in travels and adventures. To help me with selecting props and backgrounds, my second step and best practice in the planning stage is to gather inspiration. I do this by checking Pinterest, Canva, Pexel, Instagram, and magazines. Basically, any resource that can show me pictures. I say this a lot in my classes, but this step is important because it helps so you don't have to start from scratch. For example, I got an idea of how I can show light and comfort from this photo from Pinterest. My idea is to create a setup that looks like a bed with a fluffy blanket to deliver a message of comfort. For my other setup, I got excited when I saw these photos from Canva. I rarely use 2 bold colors as my background, so I wanted to try it to show that the color of these shoes is versatile. I initially thought of using pink and green for the background, but after seeing this page from a K-pop magazine, I decided to use pink and yellow instead. I actually ended up using this magazine as props too. Getting inspired does not end on Pinterest, Instagram, and magazines. Observing nature and your surroundings can also get your creative juice flowing. For example, I am always fascinated by the dried leaves in our backyard and thought of using it as props one day. And finally, that day came. I searched for outdoor shoes on Pinterest and got these results. The outdoors always showed rocks, grass, plants, and leaves. I wanted all my photo shoots to be simple, doable, and indoor, so I had an idea. Instead of shooting outdoors, I will try and bring the outdoors inside my studio. And that is the story behind this photo. From these examples, you'll see that your source of inspiration is endless. I also love that inspiration hunting brings me so much joy and appreciation for life. I also feel accomplished when I can turn someone else's masterpiece into another creation with my unique touch to it. So I encourage you to do the same thing. Plan ahead, write your ideas, write what you want to achieve, and get inspired. In the next lesson, I will use the ideas I wrote and inspiration to choose a final theme. See you there! Choosing a theme is simply deciding on what story you want to tell. To get to your viewer's heart, you've got to have them in mind when you create your photos. What would you like them to know about the product? What is the most important part? Another way to approach the story is to ask yourself, how do I want my viewer to feel? If you are having a hard time deciding, write a few words about how the product makes you feel. Then think about how you can trigger these emotions when creating your images or your photos. A tool that really helps me in this stage of crafting my image is the brand adjective cheat sheet. From here, you can choose 1 to 3 adjectives that best describe your product, or 1 to 3 adjectives that you want your viewers to feel when they see your product photos. Do you want them to feel calm, excited, fearless, or whimsical? We can use 1 to 3 adjectives as our main theme for the photo shoots. This theme will also serve as our guide in selecting props and backgrounds. Ideally, you can just choose one theme for your product and photo shoot to get started. But to show you lots of examples, I will be using 3 different themes in my photo shoot demo. Remember the characteristics of the shoes that I wrote in the planning lesson? I will use that in choosing my main theme. First, I want to show that it is lightweight and comfortable. To make it cute, my first theme will be light and comfy. Next, I wanted to show lots of color patterns, and I want my viewers to feel excited when they see my product photo. I also wanted to appeal to K-pop fans after getting inspired by this K-pop magazine, so my second theme will be bold and colorful. Finally, I wanted to show that this product is not only cute but can be worn outside and is a reliable footwear. So my third theme is fun and adventurous. One of the recurring questions I got in my product photography workshop is, where and how do I start? My clients are often overwhelmed with gazillion ideas, and it is causing more damage than good. Tons of unorganized ideas can be paralyzing, so choosing a theme can be a lifesaver. When you decide on a theme, your ideas are being narrowed down. You will be intentional with choosing props. You will immediately know what belongs and what doesn't. You have a clearer goal. For example, in my case, how can I photograph these shoes when my message is light and comfy? We will answer this question and slowly but surely bring our ideas to life in the next lesson. See you there. Now that we have a theme, we can move on to selecting and sourcing props. But before we proceed, what are props anyway? These are objects that we can add to our scene as a supporting element. I consider backgrounds as props too. Anything I put in the scene that is not the product or the subject is considered as props. When selecting props, I have 3 considerations: color, size, and purpose. First, let's talk about color. When it comes to persuasion, emotion is the driver, and nothing appeals more to a viewer's emotions than color. When selecting the props to support your product, you can maximize colors to convey a certain feeling or emotion. For example, if you want them to perceive a feeling of confidence with your product, you can use yellow props. If you want to convey a natural feeling, you can use green props. If you want to convey a pure, balanced, and positive energy, you can maximize white props. If you want to evoke passion and energy, you can use red props. And the list goes on. My top tip is to stick to a maximum of 2 to 3 color combinations. Make sure that the color of the props you choose will not confuse or distract your viewers. Next is the size. To be safe, I like using smaller props. I actually learned this the hard way. I have props I haven't used to this day because they are too big for my scene. If you have a big prop that you think will really help tell your product story, my suggestion is to capture just a part of it and not show the whole thing. The goal is to give your viewers an idea. For example, in this photo, I did not have to show the whole magazine. Just showing a part of it is more than enough to support the story. Finally, when choosing props, consider the purpose. Whatever I throw in my frame, it needs to have purpose. Is it there to suggest something? Can I use it for a better composition? Can I use it as a leading line? Does it contribute to the story? For example, if you're creating a bathroom scene, what are props that can contribute to that story? It could be towels, a marble background, a soap, etc. If it's an afternoon snack theme, you can use table napkins, plates, and cutlery as your props. My top tip is to make it subtle. Choose props to make it look as natural as possible. Make it look authentic and emotionally focused. Now, let's apply these 3 considerations and choose props for our product photo shoot. Since we already have a theme, it will be easier to choose props. Let's start with the background. The first theme is light and comfy, so I'm thinking of using this fleece blanket. I wanted to create a bedroom vibe, and I want to convey a message of comfort and coziness, so I think it's a perfect background. For the K-pop theme, or the bold and colorful, I will be using this pink felt paper and this yellow poster paper as my background. I wanted to make something like this, and I found the pink and yellow color combination from this magazine really eye-catching, so I got these poster papers from a bookstore near our house. Finally, for the fun and adventurous theme, I want to create an outdoorsy feel, so I think this brown poster paper can really help me achieve that. So, these are our backgrounds. Moving on to props. Here are all the props that I collected through the years, plus a couple of normal household items. For the light and comfy, I thought of using black and white props to stick to the theme and match the white fleece blanket. I think these AirPods and reading glasses can be good supporting props for that bedroom vibe. I wanted to use a newspaper or magazine to add texture and layers, so I will be using this page to add to the black and white color combination. Next, for the K-pop inspired bold and colorful theme, since I got the idea from this magazine, I thought of using it as props as well. I think this chain necklace with a bold design will also help in creating the image I have in mind. I will also add these accessories just in case. I am sticking to colors pink and black to support the theme. Finally, for the fun and adventurous theme, I thought of using these dried flowers, but it doesn't feel right. Plus, I really wanted to create an outdoorsy scene. So I went outside and picked dried leaves. I also got this branch with dried leaves to make it really interesting. If you will notice, I only have 2 to 3 props per scene. I have learned the hard way that even if you have a very few props in your setup, as long as they serve their purpose and genuinely support your story, it is more than enough. Now, moving on to the exciting part. The next lesson is about setting up and styling. See you there. Now that we have a theme, a background for each theme, and props, it's time to set up and style. I will be showing you my usual setup when photographing products for clients as well as for my personal projects. I will not dig deep into lighting, composition, and settings because I have classes dedicated to those topics, so you can definitely check them out if you need guidance on that too. So first is the light source. I mentioned that I am using my all-in-one continuous artificial light, but you can definitely maximize other light sources as well as natural light from a window. The main goal is to make sure that your setup is properly lit and exposed. My go-to setup is light at the side of my setup or side lighting, so I can create a three-dimensional effect because of the form and texture created by side shadows. I also positioned my light this way to spread the light because I will be photographing from a top view angle. You can achieve this by setting up near a big door or window if you are using natural light from the sun. Next is the surface. This could be anything flat where you can place your background, product, and props. I use this table for most of my photo shoots. Next is prepping the product. Styling is not limited to playing around with colorful backgrounds and props. Styling includes cleaning and making sure that the product is picture perfect. In my case, since I am photographing shoes, I used this scrap paper to fill the shoes and give it a fuller shape. So this is with and without the scrap paper. You can do the same thing with bags or any product that needs a little lift and volume. You can also use tissue paper or any type of material that can serve the same purpose. I also check for marks, dirt, or any imperfection that doesn't help the story. If you're photographing perfumes or products with a glass or glossy material, watch out for smudges. You can use lint-free towels, paper towels, and gloves to avoid leaving marks and smudges. I also have different brushes to clean up my scene before taking photos. We want our viewers to be captivated by the beauty of our product photos, and simple mistakes like a smudge, dirt, or distracting shapes can ruin that experience. Although most mistakes can be corrected in post-processing or editing, it can slow down my workflow, so I prefer to create photographs that require minimal retouching and editing. Alright, our product is now pretty and ready. It's time to style for each theme. So we will start with the light and comfy theme. See you in the next video. Here are the final photos for the light and comfy theme. The cozy appearance and texture of the fleece blanket really helped in giving that soft feeling. The AirPods, reading glasses, and magazine helped in suggesting that homey vibe, and the positioning of the shoes made it clear that it is the main subject. Now, let me walk you through the process of styling for this theme. So first is the background. This is very important because it gives a story context and gives a real opportunity to embellish a story. I wanted to stage a bedroom look, and if my viewers can see and believe the environment I am portraying, the story becomes all the more immersive. I am intentionally creating these folds to add more interest and form to our background. Shadows can be trapped in those folds and can help make it look more realistic and dramatic. Next is the magazine. When I first glanced through it, I knew that I wanted the page showing only blacks and whites. I am placing it at the very back so it will only show a part of it in the photo. Next is the product or the pair of shoes. There is no standard way to do this, but since my subject is not fragile and does not change appearance over time like food, I can experiment and play around with the arrangement. The goal for me is to make it look like an organized mess. I also want the shoes to look pretty, so I am positioning it as if it's posing for the camera. As you can see, I continuously adjust the folds to form a line leading to the shoes to help in my composition. Next are the remaining props. My go-to guide when arranging is visual weight. I spread out the props to make it look balanced. Since I want a light and comfy look and I am getting dark shadows on the left, I will be using a whiteboard to fill in the shadows by reflecting light. Then I take a test shot. This is also an important step because looking at the final photo can expose mistakes, imperfections, and awkward arrangements. Because I took a test shot, I have a chance to make final adjustments before I get carried away taking photos. Again, here are the final results for the light and comfy theme. To show more examples, I also tried photographing other products using the same setup and props, and here are the results. In the next demo, I will walk you through in styling for the bold and colorful theme. See you there. Hi again! Here are the final photos for the K-pop inspired bold and colorful theme. I love the bold and vibrant colors that I see from these images. I want my viewers to feel excited when they see my bold and colorful photo, and I feel that I was able to achieve it with my very simple styling for these images. Although I used very few props, I feel that I was able to create a K-pop vibe because of the bold design of the chain necklace and the added ribbon accessory. The magazine really helped in the composition and the overall look too. Now, the exciting part, the styling process. So first is the background. I placed the pink felt paper on top of the yellow poster paper simply because the edges are straight. My yellow poster paper has a different texture and has wrinkles on the edges, so I covered it with the pink felt paper. The positioning of the pink felt paper though is a bit of trial and error. I wanted to create a diagonal line, so I am just experimenting with which side. Next is the magazine. Again, looking for that page with the bold pink and yellow text to match my background. Since this prop is quite big, I am placing it at the back so it won't distract and steal the spotlight from the subject, which is the product. Next is the product. I am arranging and positioning it in a way that complements the line that was created by the background. I wanted to create interest and movement, so I am positioning the shoes this way instead of just putting them beside each other. Next are the remaining props. Same guidelines, I am positioning each prop to balance both sides of the frame. Then I take a test shot. I noticed that the shadows are darker than what I intend, so again, I am using a whiteboard as a reflector to fill in the shadows. I also noticed that the pink headband and necklace look a bit out of place, so I am trying to experiment with the arrangement. It worked out for the necklace, but the pink headband is not helping my composition, so I decided to just remove it. And to show more examples, here are other products I shot using the same props and styling. Now for our final theme, we will try and create an outdoor vibe for our fun and adventurous theme. See you in the next video. We are almost done. For the final theme, here are the final photos. I love how cool and badass this photo looks. It actually exceeded my expectations. I used exactly 3 props for this style, the brown poster paper, the dried leaves, and the tree branch, but I feel that I was able to deliver the message that these shoes are not only cute, stylish, and comfortable, but reliable even in adventures. The styling process is quite different for our fun and adventurous theme. The first 2 setup are flat lace, while this setup is showing a bit of the background because I wanted to achieve something with the tree branch. To achieve this, I am using a T-stand to hold my background. Then the tree branch. I was a bit nervous and wasn't sure if I would be able to pull it off, but thanks to this tote, I was able to position the tree branch the way I envisioned it. Next are the dried leaves. Then the product. I got ideas with the positioning of the shoes from Pinterest, the ones that I showed you earlier in the planning lesson. Again, I am taking a test shot to see how it looks when photographed. Then, making final adjustments to the dried leaves. A top tip when arranging props is to maximize lines. You can use them as leading lines to create a powerful composition. And finally, it's time to take photos. And for more examples, here are other products using the same props and styling. And that is it for our styling demos. I hope you enjoyed them and found lots of helpful tips that you can apply in your very own product photography styling. Just remember to consider your target audience when styling and choose a theme that will be most appealing and relatable to them. You can also stick with your brand message and transform it into a theme, and from there you can attract your future loyal customers. The goal is to create eye-catching photos that deliver a clear message. In the next lesson, I will be sharing my final product styling tips. See you there. You did it! Congratulations on finishing this class. So we have learned about why styling is important in product photography, as well as the key ingredient to effective product styling, which is storytelling. We went through the 4 steps to creating a scroll-stopping product photos. Step 1 is planning and gathering inspiration. Step 2 is choosing a theme. Step 3 is selecting and sourcing props. And step 4 is setting up and styling. You've seen how you can maximize a few props to support your product, as well as how to choose a background to help tell a story. Now, for my final 5 tips, first is to think outside the box and be resourceful. Product styling needs a bit of troubleshooting. There are times that you can't get the image that you have envisioned the first time, but with a couple of tweaks, you might end up exceeding your expectations. Be creative in finding solutions, such as putting tacket on a stubborn sandal strap, or using scrap paper to create a fuller shape for your product. Next tip is to style for the angle. When photographing products, you can do a top view angle, 3/4, or straight on. Choose which angle will show off the best and important component of your product. For example, I used the straight on angle for the fun and adventurous theme. The top view angle is more graphic, so I maximized it in the bold and colorful theme. Finally, for the light and comfy, I use the 3/4 angle because this is how we usually see things and our eyes are more accustomed to. For me, photographing it in a 3/4 angle added to the homey vibe. Next tip is to handle shapes and lines with care. Quite related to styling for the angle, you want your lines straight. Avoid tilted objects that look awkward. To troubleshoot issues with tilted objects, you can either reposition your props and product or adjust your camera angle. Next tip is to apply basic editing before posting or sharing your styled photos. Although our smartphones and cameras are advanced and smarter than ever, our human brains and eyes are still superior. So it pays to do a bit of post-processing with your images. Most of the time, cropping, adjusting brightness, adding contrast, and adding vibrance can make a difference. Finally, don't wait until the end results to be happy. Enjoy every stage of the creation process. Explore your imagination in the planning stage. Let no limitations stop you from bringing your visions to life. Have fun selecting props. Arrange your scene like it is a work of art, because it is. Forget about perfection and get lost taking photos, rearranging and experimenting camera angles, and know that as soon as you take the shot and you are staring at it on your camera screen, you have created something out of nothing. That photograph is unique and was created by you. And while you are looking at it, I want you to remember